I have a second channel, Cube Comp MTDX. Hey everybody. So here's a computer I recently got as a parts donor. I built this system, or at least I upgraded the motherboard in it, back in, I think, 2011 for a friend, and they retired this thing, I think, about a year ago or 2 years ago, something like that. When I received this thing, the interior was just absolutely filthy. It was the dust in this thing. It was just caked on everything. The CPU cooling fan was actually had popped loose from the big heat pipe cooler there, and was laying in bomb in the system. Um, it was just a mess. Yeah. So I went ahead and cleaned this thing out with the air compressor. So it looks a lot better now than it did before. I got the CPU cooler hung back in, but it's still not perfect. I don't know the whole story behind this. I thought these Rocketfish coolers came with different fans. Maybe they came with 92mm fans, but I noticed that the branding on this fan is Dynex, which is the Best Buy branding. You can see this power supply, the Dynex branded power supply, which this power supply was put in at some point, probably when the graphics card was put in. This happened before I got it, and actually did the motherboard back in 2011. So I'm willing to bet that the previous owner of this thing took this thing to Best Buy and had them install the graphics card and the power supply to run that graphics card. So, so this system, it has a Core 2 Quad CPU. See how much RAM it has. It has 8GB of DDR3 G-Skill memory. Graphics card, not exactly certain what that is. I'd have to pull it out really to see. It's got a TV tuner card way down in the bottom as well. Anyways, this thing is a total rat's nest. I must say, I was not the greatest at cable management at all. I just didn't really. Back then, it was like if it didn't interfere with fans, I didn't care. But obviously nowadays, when I put systems together, I do put a bit more time and effort into tidying up cables and stuff like that. But that and these Dynex power supplies, they have a ton of cables to begin with. Way too many cables for this thing, and of course it's non-modular, so all the cables are fully intact. So as you may see, the hard drive is pulled out. The hard drive is actually bad, unfortunately, because the plan was to pull the files off the hard drive, but the hard drive is it's done. This system it wasn't maintained. It never was cleaned out. It was, I believe, a smoker home, and that just has a tendency to kill computers. Now we're about to find out if this thing will even run. As I mentioned, I got the CPU fan sort of detached back to the cooler. I'm going to look into this. I might swap out this cooler for a different one. I do have some monsters that came out of Pentium D systems I could swap in there. That would offer about the same amount of cooling. Here's a look at the back. This system was from, I believe, 2007 or 2008, one of them 2 years. It's a Windows Vista era computer. So we're going to go ahead and plug this thing up, and we'll try it out. And hopefully the power supply in this system does not go with a big bang like that system down there did night before last. This is the other computer of the two that I cleaned out in that recent cleanout video. Power supply had a nice issue there with the 5-volt standby transformer. Notice a big black spot there. So again, we'll plug this thing up and see what it does. And yeah, I got to deal with this room. It's getting to be an absolute cluster. So I just upgraded the motherboard in the Plexi recently, so that's out of the way. It's got to deal with all these computers more or less. So this motherboard is a MSI board. Can't see the models probably under the graphics card. It's a it was a retail board off of Newegg, which I think offers functionality including overclocking. Matter of fact, I think I may have had this thing overclocked when I finished it for him. So yeah, to have it overclocked and to not keep it maintained, that's not good. But then plug in our video. See if the graphics card's good. I'm going to set this camera down right here, and let's hope that this thing does not go crazy whenever I plug it in and hit the power switch. Okay, power switch is off. We have power. And let's see if this thing will start. Oh yeah, it runs. Core 2 Quad, 2.4 gigahertz. So we definitely have some fans that need help. The GPU fan is in dire need of help. So that's something that has to be worked on. So it's very likely that this thing, when it was in the state of condition that it was, it's more likely it was thermal throttling all the time because of it overheating, which I'm sure it was probably overheating. And, yeah, I just want to take a quick look at these numbers here. Let's keep in time. Let's go in here to system information. Core 2 Quad. This says at 2.4 gig. 8 gigs of memory. Yeah, this thing, it definitely needs help, but hey, at least it runs. It does run. Just a quick look through the BIOS. That should be S3. Back in hard monitor. At least some motherboards reporting the CPU is running good and cool. And here's the overclocking menu. So let's take a quick look here. It runs. That's definitely a good sign, for sure. I'm just gonna go ahead and save and exit. Okay, there we are. Intel G41 Express chipset. Okay, let's go ahead and pull that graphics card out of this thing and see if we can give it some help. Okay, I just pulled out the graphics card as well as the tuner card. And what's weird is this tuner card is not the original tuner card to this computer. It's just a basic coaxial tuner. Has a cable TV as well as an antenna. Actually, no, excuse me, it's a cable TV and a radio tuner, so you can listen to radio with this thing. This is not the original tuner card, because the original tuner card has the header for this connection right here, which is for the front, the front composite and all that good stuff. So yeah, that's great. So my options there would be to pull the motherboard and stuff out of this chassis and transplant it to a different case and use this case for something else. Maybe use it for the build a system specifically for like capturing and stuff like that. I could do that. Not as certain yet. Okay, so I think I forgot to mention it earlier, but the thing about this motherboard is with this giant graphics card in it, it covers the single PCI Express X1 slot right there, and that's probably why this thing had a different TV card put in it. I imagine the factory tuner card probably was right there, or at least it was occupied inside of the occupied inside of the PCI Express slot. No, this one right there, more or less. If the previous motherboard was oriented as such, but with this motherboard, simply is a no-go. Unless I take out the graphics card, and then I can put in a tuner card that has this connection, which I do have one. I have a Podge. Let's see, I think it's a HVR 1250 MC that offers. It has a built-in clear QAM tuner, as well as analog tuner, as well as composite, S-video, capture, all that good stuff. So more than likely, I am going to actually pull out this motherboard and CPU memory and power supply and transplant all that to a different system. I got an older E-Machines tower back here that's got nothing in it, and I've also got an older compact tower in the shelving unit that's also empty. I could possibly build it into like a little bit of a sleeper computer, if you know what I mean. I could do that. A number of different things I could do. Here's a graphics card. It's an NVIDIA GTX 450 1GB GDDR5 graphics card, and the fan does spin fine, but it does need help. So we're going to take that fan out of there and try to service it. Okay, let's start it back up. So yeah, the graphics card fan sounds a whole lot better now. Nice and quiet. Now the system fan is still howling right away, full speed. So I noticed that for some reason I had, let me look in here. Yeah, I got this motherboard is kind of weird. It has a system fan header right next to the CPU fan header, and then it has a second system fan header near the back of the system, which is kind of a weird design. So actually, I have the CPU fan plugged into system fan 1, and the rear fan plugged into system fan 2. The CPU fan is only a 3-pin fan. Maybe that's why I had it plugged in there. Perhaps maybe it would use voltage to control the other fans. I don't know for sure, but yeah, I'm gonna be overhauling this thing completely. I think I might keep that same heatsink fan, that heat pipe cooler in there. I'm not certain yet. I'm gonna switch out for a fan that probably uses 4 pins, so that way it can regulate it properly. I'm not sure why it's not regulating the speed of the system fan, because as you can see, I do have it set. I have a smart fan target, but apparently it's only controlling the CPU fan, which is kind of strange. Usually smart fan controls both the CPU fan and the system fan, or you can have settings for that control them independently. Anyways, I'm going to follow up with a different video on this thing. I'm kind of done with this thing for now. I got other stuff I got to work on. But I'm gonna follow up with a different video on this thing. I'm gonna probably be transplanting all of its hardware to a different chassis, and be looking forward to that. So, anyways, this thing it runs. I'm amazed. Started right up actually, so not too bad considering the conditions it was in, or at least the kind of condition it was in when I got it. So, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Well, everybody, that's it for this video, but don't forget there's a lot more interesting stuff on the channel to check out. Also, if this is your first time visiting this channel, feel free to subscribe to keep your channel, and also don't forget to tick the bell so that way you'll get notified of new video posts. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, but if you really didn't like it, there is the alternative option available as well. Also, feel free to check out my second channel, CubeComp MTDX. There you'll find videos about bicycling, weather, elevator tours, and all sorts of other neat, interesting stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to come back, and thank you for your support.